Hello and welcome to Rise and Connect. And these are my two very good friends. Welcome to our podcast. Welcome, Abdullah. Welcome, Taz.
Good morning. Welcome, Steve.
Morning, Steve.
Thanks for having us again.
It's such a nice... We've been talking before we came on air.
True.
And it's so nice to have started this, right?
Yep.
It's something that you look forward to.
Very much, indeed.
I would say let's start for all of us. So we should have started. We should have done that years ago.
We should have, when I think about it, 100%.
Yep.
But it's sometimes everybody thinks that it's so easy to get in front of the camera, right? Yeah, it's so easy.
Yeah.
But it's not easy.
It's not.
Even with me, after all the podcasts that I've done, and I think it's nearly 400 now,
Oh,
you still get nervous. Just before you came, I had to walk around the block.
Yeah, we went for a little walk.
Yeah,
just to have a little brainstorming session, walking around, yes.
So that we could get more ideas about what we were talking about. But yeah, it was, you get nervous. It's not easy, but now we've done it. Oh God.
So, I think it's like 21 podcast episodes before it's considered to be a successful, sustainable podcast in general. So we are at episode 2, so we are 10% there. So
10%
congrats.
there, yes.
10%. Yeah. But let's talk about, and something serious now, let's talk about the feedback that we got from the last podcast.
Yeah, we're excited to hear that.
It was really good, right?
So we're going to do it each separately, or you're going to tell us?
You go first.
You carry on.
Abdullah,
I've
yes.
got questions from people that
That's amazing. So I've shared with you some of the reviews I have received. All of them are positive. I haven't received any negative podcast. Just some people complaining about the music in the back. Some minor technical issues. Other than that, people who knows us, they are really happy that we are 3 of us sitting together. Shout out to everybody who messaged me either on WhatsApp, LinkedIn, or spoke to me in person. I can tell you one thing, that our podcast reached all the way all over the world. I'm sure of that because I have received messages from everybody, and I have attached it to my happy New Year, and greetings to send it out to everybody I know. So we received great feedbacks so far on my side. I mean,
100%. No, I've got exactly the same. Everybody said it's so much. It's real honesty.
Yep.
Some of the comments, and it's really useful. I know that we both got similar friends that's messaging. I know that all the way from Australia, in Sydney, we got messages, which was they love the podcast.
Yep.
They're coming for Web Summit. So yeah, the feedback is being
Incredible, especially at the right time that we're doing it.
Yep.
Because we can see people might be booking their flights now for Web Summit, for the LNG, for all the events coming up. And a lot of
to the gentleman who
and-
shared with you after he listened to our podcast, he was
Yes.
like, I'm opening it in Doha instead of
I
other
heard that,
countries.
yes.
So yeah,
Very, very curious where they're from.
he's Indian actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I was surprised that he changed his mind and now he's coming to Qatar for Web Summit.
Fantastic.
That was for me the icing on the cake.
Yes.
Yeah. It is the icing on the cake, and I'll tell you something else that came from all of this as well, which is going to be a good story to tell. Mm-hmm. But it really was. It's powerful stuff, and I've got to say that I'm really what I'm really over the moon with is you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We went for a walk just before the podcast.
Just about 10 minutes,
We
yes.
were talking about things that is such real value for people that got an interest to come to the Middle East.
Absolutely.
Not just Qatar, but the whole of the Middle East.
Yeah, I mean, like we said last time, when Abdullah, strongly messaged that across there saying, use Qatar as a launch pad.
Yep.
And this is exactly what these companies really want, to come in. But of course, they need expert guidance and kind of strategy development. And sometimes it might help not just those companies, even the companies in Qatar.
Yep.
Where they might be dealing a business line they're already very comfortable with, but they want to jump into another line of business where they don't know what kind of business they could bring in. And that's where we could get that expertise to bring in and set up new businesses. That it helps both ways.
Yep.
100%. And yes, it's come because what I'm hoping here, I'm hoping it's an extension of our voices, right?
Yep.
So this is an extension of our voice. We want to help others,
Exactly.
right? But then there's the way that we help others to raise their voice in all over the world.
Everybody is a story. Like everybody has something to say, something to add, and Steve, more than anybody else, it's the small things that bothers, that kills the momentum that you have whenever you have. When you have a challenge, a clear challenge, okay, and it's obstacle that you cannot you can manage to go around. But the small things that we managed to fix over here in Qatar, those are amazing things for me.
Yeah.
Like the small things that doesn't bother us anymore. Printing a CR with the MCI, applying for something online, doing most of the stuff that we need to do on a clear way. That helps a lot.
Well, there's going to be several subjects that it's a good segue that I'm going to go with this one first. So there was a situation. Web Summit's coming up.
It is.
Very exciting.
A few weeks left. Yeah.
Very exciting. The thing with it is I can't get excited yet because I've got all those 30 students coming from UK.
You just mentioned that, yes, to go around to the...
When is that?
That's on the. I'm going to introduce you to everybody. It's starting on the 20th. We've got. I'm going to put a big name out there for Habas.
Sure.
You know Habas.
Yep.
From Qatar Foundation.
Yep.
He's going to be doing the presentation at QF.
That's great.
Amazing. And then we're going to be going to Qatar, the Qatar Education Stadium.
Yep.
So we're going to QF Stadium, which is going to Education City Stadium.
Yep.
So I got it all wrong there.
So okay.
But they're going there. We've got Liz Colgan is going to be doing a talk with them.
Cool.
So that's going to be another one. Silver medalist, Olympic silver medalist, world champion at middle distance. And she was an absolute legend in my day where she inspired so many different people. So we've got her doing her talk in front of so many students.
Incredible, yes, amazing.
Yeah. And then we're going to Al-Kas. And this is all about relationships, right?
Yep.
These are all relationships. Habas was one of them. The other one was Rodri from Al-Kas. We're having a morning of kind of going in and see the studios in this sports studio. We're going to be showing them everything, which is going to be perfect for them because they're part of UCFD. In Wembley Stadium, their classrooms look out onto the pitch.
A dream for many of the young, it could be a dream come true for many.
So they're going to be seeing this studio. Then we're going to Aspire Academy to get a tour around there.
That's good.
And then we're going back to watch a football.
Is it their first time in Qatar, these students?
First time.
Wow, they'll be blown away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is part of our legacy. So we're doing it because we brought some students going back in 2018, 19. I can't remember when it was. And then we've done it in 2022, just before the World Cup. That was great.
Yep.
And now we're going to do the legacy to say for everybody's going to be Supreme Committee. We're going to Generation Amazing. So they're all going to give to what levels they've got now in a way that the country has gone on from 2022.
Incredible, yes.
So
amazing.
that's going to be. So that's the first part. But one of the other stories that I got was Web Summit. Was last year I was telling you that I was stood around this table and there was this guy that was looking lost. And I just pulled him over and started talking to him. Where are you from? I'm from South Africa. I'm saying, what do you do? He said, we're into machine learning and we're doing this, And I'm thinking, he's this guy's somebody special. I can tell. I get this feeling from him. And I just kept on talking to him. But he wasn't an outgoing chap. But I made it just by, I keep on saying this, by the handshake.
Yeah.
And I brought him in. And they are now doing a test with doctors where they're doing the screen on the table.
Yeah, you mentioned that, yes.
And their computer, and it's all feeding in all that person's data.
Yeah.
It's transcribing the conversation. So if they're talking about different things, they can pull up and give suggestions in different ways and the kind of the difficulties that person's had. But the doctor can focus on the patient. And if he's got to write a sick note or some admin that's got to go with it, it's automatically being done already so that he doesn't have to waste any of that time that he's spending with the
patient.
It's already for when he leaves. So this is the type of stuff they're doing. And the great thing about it is somebody wanted to do mentorship here in Qatar. And I said, okay, no problem. So they came and talked to me. I said, look, let me tell you, I'm not into this technology side. I can get your mind straight. I can get you I can help you in those areas, but on this technical front, we can. But I've got some guys that possibly can. And I introduced them to the ones in South Africa. Those guys have seen their ambition, have seen their desire, their work ethic, and now they're giving them a chunk of their
business.
That's interesting, good. Very interesting.
So that they can go they've got a business here in Qatar and they've got a business in Berlin. They're all doctors in Berlin.
So should we call it Wise and Connect or Connect and Wise now?
It's kind of, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll still have to explore
those are the possibilities, and it's really good that we can talk like this now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because we were talking again today about yourself in the way that you're looking after clients that are coming.
Yeah, I mean, I was just giving Steve a very unique example. There was a company. This is important when you talk about early engagement with the right stakeholders within companies, even before something is already set in place. a conversation which can lead on to something as a POC development.
Yep.
You know, they might say, we had a recent incident for a major company. They've been doing some business in and around Doha, but one of the key target clients was Ashghal.
Okay.
So we arranged a meeting. They had a great conversation, met with all the team members. And the end user already have a system in place, which is mostly 90% of the case, there's always systems are there. But having had that conversation, in a couple of weeks' time, they came back saying, look, from the last meeting, we wanted to explore a POC development with you. So this is a great entry. And that's giving them the motivation now to set up that company immediately in Doha to engage with the client. So this way, it's something that we can always engage other clients, different industry sectors, like experience that you come from, Abdullah, from your healthcare sector, different various sectors where we could introduce and have that conversation first. And then that could lead on to an immediate access to a POC, which could be a good business model for both countries. This is
And the good thing about that, it doesn't just stop there. That's just one example. We've all just talked about
Czechoslovakian company. And this is interesting. This is another project where, QRDI had a project involving one of the stakeholders, let's say Kahramaa, for example. And the local company called up and said, can you find out a technology partner who are very strong in delivering that technology to make sure that they can go together as a bid? And we discussed with the company in Europe, and it's all about how you articulate the opportunity to them, and then they worked over the weekend, put the bid in, and they're almost at the verge of getting that contract. And that's an entry for them to come in, a brand new entry to GCC, which can open up Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, Kuwait, Bahrain, once you establish your footprint in Qatar with Kahramaa. So this is a typical example. And then that then leads to other companies in that country to gain more confidence to move into this market, where 3 of us could be going into that country, talking to the real stakeholders, giving some real case studies that look at these 1, 2, 3 companies, they've already stepped in without having a marketing effort to do that, spending a lot of money on marketing, etc. But we are making that entry. That's what we can contribute to companies, can't we?
It's the connection, it's the ideas, the way that we see things, the 3 of us. Each one of us gives something that other people can, like, even someone who might have been in the business for 20 years. Yes, we always learn, from experience, but at the same time, it's the way that we see the world. We see the possibilities, we see how to move forward. Yeah. We see what is the best way that we can move from one way to another, or one business to another, linking people together. I had the pleasure of meeting a company from Germany over the weekend, and they were targeting the sports or the athletes. When I told him, look, we have literally Aspire Academy in Doha, and then we have Hospital next to it, like in the same. The guy was like, in the same compound? I mean, yeah, it's the same compound. It's a full stadium, it's a full academy, it's a full school, actually. The guy was blown away. He called me later, he said, I did not know such things exist in the GCC. Yeah. So that's what we do, is that we promote the region, we are promoting the business, we promote the possibilities even. What brings us in today again is what we did last month actually, and how can we approach next month, which is Web Summit, which we are all excited about.
Everyone, yes.
But Steve, you've been asking everybody to shoot you the question that they have.
Yes.
So
we're excited
shall
to
we
see
start
what kind
by
of
those?
questions.
Because
So I've got the questions here. This is from Sarah, a founder building a fintech platform here in Doha. She asks, when is the right time for me to raise capital, and how do I really know I'm ready?
Okay, so an answer to Sarah or any, so that's my area of experience, which is VCs or funds in general. It's as simple for me. If you have good traction, okay, you can raise 10 to 15x of your traction, annual traction, depending on the size of the company you're on. If you are on the idea stage, or pre-seed money as we call it, then you'll have to go to your family and friends, someone who trusts you as a person. But if you're a company and you want to raise, you're on later stage, you raise depending on your traction. Mainly, that's what the investor will look at. Is that okay? I see you are doing X, and if I give you my money, you will go to 20x per year. That's if you have that formula done, then yeah, you can raise funds easily.
And I think that this stage, I'd like to say to Sarah as well, is that you've got QDB. So ensure that you read everything. Their website is really, really up to date, and it's excellent information. And you can see the sectors that they're actually kind of wanting to invest in, and where they think that growth is within in the marketplace here in Qatar. So QDB is one of those areas that you can go to. Look at all the incubators and accelerators also, because there's some good opportunities there when it comes to TASMU, comes to QSTP. Just have your options open and just make sure that you're ready when it comes to the paperwork side of it. You've got to make sure that if somebody wants some information off you, it's in your hand already. So make sure that you've got that, because that's going to be that will impress.
Yep, data rooms is a big thing. It is one of the blockers technically when it comes to raising funds for any company when they approach us as funds in general. As soon as you send them even big companies do not have those data already. I remember like in my old days in the QSTP, like we have the generic 16 question that we send out to any company that want to raise funds. Most of the companies will come to me and tell me, I don't have those things. And I'll tell them, okay, whatever you have, just give it to me. And what you don't have, it's either you cannot make or you cannot give.
True.
If you cannot make, then you just give me the reason why you cannot have it.
Yeah.
If you cannot give it to me, it's a matter of let's say, confidentiality. That's a different story. So yeah, there are many funds in Qatar. There are multiple applications that you can put out, but just have your information ready.
But that kind of leads on to one of the questions, Steve, you mentioned earlier on about, like Abdullah just now mentioned, 16 questions where if a company could do 10 or 11 and then you miss that critical 5, that's where our combined expertise can guide them to make sure those questions are answered correctly. So in front of the investor, you don't face any problem. Because I had that instance, like it was last Web Summit, there was a company from, if I remember correctly, it was from one of the European countries and Central Asia. One of the Central Asia, and great technology. And I had an opportunity to take that founder quickly to meet with, I think it was QIA or Qatar Invest. We were there, but the pitch was really good pitch, but there were specific questions where they struggled to respond back.
Yep.
But that was one great opportunity. You're sitting with the right person. You got to be well prepared. So like we mentioned earlier on, that's where maybe our expertise can put in those valuable advice for them to try and make sure that they're all ready for those conversations. And your experience, Abdullah, will be a great asset because you worked with QSTP for more than a decade, and you understand the
You see, let me tell you something. A story that happened to me in the past. I wasn't prepared for that. I did not vetted the entrepreneur on their, let's say, experience, so that we don't point out to someone. And I received a call and say, "Oh, Abdullah, can you help us to access this investor or this supporter for that technology?" And when it comes to Qatar, and this gentleman is a well-known gentleman within the Qatari market, and within the Qatari, let's say, scene. He's one of my oldest friends. I called the guy. I told him, "Look, this is the investor. This is the entrepreneur. They have ABC." I just gave him 3 sentences. As soon as I gave them that, it was like that for him. He said, "I would like to have a meeting with them."
Yeah.
They have been trying that for 6 months to meet him, sending him letters, emails, and everything. And the guy is busy.
Yeah.
But when you know what is the buttons that you need to play with, and you just call the investors. My problem is that this person wasn't that passionate about the business, and ended up messing up the opportunity. So now that's a lesson learned for me. So because we keep learning, even at our age, we will be always learning something new. So our idea is simply again is that we vet the startups. Some people that will come to us passionate with fire and everything, but as soon as you start to take them, okay, let's go systematic, they will not be ready for it.
Yes.
So we don't want to lose our leads and our face and our doors. Like we can recommend lots of businesses that we've worked with, but sometimes we go with our emotions,
True.
which is never a good thing. Turn out like at least in my case.
The biggest thing that I would say with that is that you've got there's two of the greatest people in Qatar that's going to make those introductions in, and from that business perspective, know how to navigate those different industries, right? And knowing who to go to and who to speak to. One of the things that I would say with Qatar is that it's very competitive now. You've got people with that hunger, that dedication.
Yes,
true.
But if they got a great idea, if they looked at that market research, if they've done all those things, because when you go to these two experts, you've got to have everything in place because they're not going to lose their reputation with something that isn't ready. So you have to be so ready when you come to these chats, because if you have an instant, or once we've looked at those different things and where's your strengths, then they're going to take you to their contacts, because they're going to make sure that they're taking somebody that's going to improve their credibility. They're going to improve the kind of things that they're bringing to these investors, that they say they're tried and tested. I'm going to listen to what these guys are saying. So that's why you've got to give us the best possible picture of your business. So competition is everything. So just be better at things. Just show that desire, that kind of, and the content. Content is king, okay? So make sure that content and whatever they ask for, a business plan or feasibility study, you're there coming back with that straight away.
And certainly we can help with all of those elements that you mentioned, the feasibility and understanding. And I was talking to Steve, another case of a company who came here 2 years ago, the Web Summit. Unfortunately, they didn't end up meeting with the right people. They brushed around with a few people, but then they didn't get a good feedback or whatever it is, but they went back to California, set the company up. Now they've got a couple of patents. Now they want to come back into GCC. They're in a very strong position now where we, especially Abdullah, with your expertise, can give them the right guidance because they are one step ahead. So this could be more interesting for investors because they've got patents, they've got new technologies, etc.
Can we have an honest discussion about Web Summit? How do we see it?
Yeah, please do.
So my take on Web Summit, you are not here to look to meet people. Everybody's busy. Like I have literally 6 events every day during the Web Summit. So that's about 18 events. That's I have to attend my associate. Some events I pushed your way and some I pushed your way as well. So it's a busy time. If you are here to believing that, okay, you can come, you can close a deal, that can happen, but that's the possibility of that happening is 0 to none. It's the best time for someone to come to Qatar, understand what's going on in the market, and either to do some announcements. So those, for me, that's what Web Summit about. It's a promotion. It's more of an easy, let's say, understanding place where you have everybody at the same time. All of us are there together with different interests, with different mentalities and everything. So everybody can come and understand whom are the key stakeholders within the country itself. But if someone's coming believing that, okay, I can come meet the right person during Web Summit and close a deal with them,
that's going to be a bit challenging.
I haven't seen it happening.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it happening, but the relationships I built up from them
Yes.
is phenomenal.
It's a starter, it's not a closer.
It's no.
Yeah.
But the one thing I would say is just be prepared for Web Summit. As you said, come here for a purpose. There's going to be different offers that there's going to be here that people are going to be able to take advantage of, right? And that's a huge thing.
True.
I remember in the first year, in the second year, you're going to be saving $25,000 possibly.
Yes.
With
for registrations and all this.
registrations that they're going to give you for free.
Free,
Yep.
yes.
Right, and it was in that first year. I think it was $30,000 because they were going to give you 5 years.
Yes.
5 years actually
Yeah.
free, and
Yeah.
I was telling one of the gentlemen who contacted me last week. He said to me, I want to come and register. Could you wait until after Web Summit?
Yeah.
So I told him, usually in Web Summit we get those discounts. If you're
Incentives,
interested,
yes.
If you are not in a hurry, just wait for another 10 days or so before you do that. And
True.
the guy's coming for Web Summit now.
And for the Web Summit, and this is where I'm getting excited because the people that you can meet is phenomenal, but you've got to be prepared.
Yes.
The simplest things, and I know people will have them, but business cards. And sometimes if you've got an iPhone, I like that new thing. But it's not a new thing, but if you put the iPhones together,
you just
they
get
both
your
pass,
contacts
they
in, yes.
instantly give each other the contact. Get ready, get prepared. Never miss an opportunity,
No.
right? There's always a purpose that you're going to bump into somebody or you're going to offer that shake hands.
Truly.
Throw that stone in that calm lake and get 100 ripples.
Exactly.
And that's the one thing I would say with Web Summit. It's going to be very exciting. You've got people that's coming from all over the world. They're going to have different types of characters. Some people are going to want to meet you too, but there's some people that's going to be standing back. Introduce yourself.
Yeah.
I remember the last one I went to, I all of a sudden I've now become friends with the VP of Manai Group
Wow.
Corporation. And I've gone there with 3 different things since. and introduce some companies to them. So
Absolutely,
these are
yes.
things that I just met him because I was walking around. I said, "Oh, you're looking for something to do. Shall we walk around together?" So take advantage of that.
Yep.
Take advantage of the events. Take advantage of those opportunities that you're going to come across. But make sure you're prepared, even if it's just a business card. And don't put those business cards in the drawer. Once you go away, make sure that you follow up. Because
Everybody, just
Truly, yes. Yeah. That's the most thing. It's building relationship, and it takes some time to build up that trust and relationship with any case. So as long as you can return back with a nice message back, say it was nice to meet you, and get on. Nowadays with online calls and meetings, it's fairly easy to get connected back quickly.
Oh dear!
And then
with you guys, and I'm just going to say to you guys is that I don't know anybody else. You've got the most nicest mannered person, but boy, are you sharp when it comes to making sure that you know the pathways to go.
That's the important thing, yes. Yeah, I mean, it's all about, we talked about the stakeholder engagement plan. It's all about giving that thought process much earlier down the line. Because I was at the World AI Summit, which happened a couple of weeks ago. And quite interestingly, as you mentioned, Steve, there was a couple of booths there. And one of the booths had a new person from Spain. She was there in the booth, and then very new to Qatar. So I just joined her, had a conversation with her, and then suddenly people started coming to that booth to have a conversation. So it was nice for us to collectively engage with that client, have a discussion with them, and that felt that person more comfortable, because having someone with that background who could connect. And then we decided, let's stay together for the next 1 hour, see what value can bring in. Yep. And then we ended up having core guys within AI and technology working for the utility company walking in straight to us. And these are people that you don't get directly access into, and while they're always walking around, this could happen in Web Summit.
Yes.
You could be meeting someone, realistically the right person that you want right next to you.
This is the ignition of the whole thing. So the idea is that if you are looking for ignition, yeah, it's a good place.
Yes.
But it will be your job to follow up. And I don't advise anybody to follow up immediately. Just give it some time, like literally a month or so, so that people emails can go relax.
I think it's emotional relationship, and I think that there's months a little bit, for me personally, the month would be too long.
Yeah.
It's just to look up and say, Abdullah, thank you for spending time with me today.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was just a joy. Those type of things are going to build emotional relationships.
And again, don't use ChatGPT, because people are going to figure it out. Just write a personal message to this person.
Yeah. Even a voice note, a good voice note. I mean, these days it's great,
For me, I don't give my phone numbers, So an email, a personal email, like literally, if I receive an email from someone, it was nice meeting you, it was good to have coffee with you or whatever, that will give me the personal connection.
There, yes.
I know that this person, put their effort, and sending me that email or sending me that message.
Yeah, and one other thing I'm going to give to the people, the startups that are going to be there, and they're going to be on those stands. Okay, make sure this is the opportunity of changing your life forever, because the people that you're going to have there are going to be inmates, the type from all walks of life.
Yep.
Don't let something slip through your fingers. Okay. When you're there, you be hungry. You meet as many people as you possibly can. Don't let anybody walk past your stand without yourself saying hello. You just make sure that you give it a little bit of a hustle. I don't want to use that word too much, but give it a little bit of a hustle, and make sure that you introduce yourself, because you never know when it's going to be a VP or one of the biggest VCs that's going to be out there. Make sure you get your story over. Don't be standing still, not getting eye contact with everybody. Okay. So a little bit passionate, but make sure you take advantage of this one.
Yep, truly. Exactly, yes.
So we've got another message from Omar, who is running an early stage logistics startup. He wants to know, what's the biggest mistake founders make when they raise too early, and that's to you, Taz.
Did you say logistics? Logistics company, yes. I mean, basically, this comes back to the same topic of early adoption engagement with the client to understand what's going on within that sector and what the country or that client would need to do a little bit of study before you actually come into the market. Because a lot of the people, they come in, they realize that there's already systems are functioning and they don't have access to it. So if we can do that, a little bit of analysis before, that kind of help them to understand and tweak their presentations to make it more value added for that client. And that would put the investors in a more excited phase to say that, like this is example what I said before, if we can have a pilot or a conversation with an end client, that gets more exciting for an end investor to look at, you're talking to Qatar Airways, you're talking to Kahramaa, you're talking to GWC, the major logistics company. I know they have huge amount of use cases that they're currently working on, where there could be a company who could provide a solution for that use case. Yeah. So if we have And it's also good to also do the market research, not just by sending emails, literally talking to these companies, who are providing services to the logistics industry and understanding the gaps, there's any problems there. And everyone now is looking at adopting AI, right,
Yes.
Abdullah? And people, most of the companies, they probably don't have the right talent. We talked about talent to understand how can we implement those in. So there are companies who are specialized who could bring in that conversation. So you need to interact with those companies, understand where we stand, and then try and get into the market with the right.
With that marketplace as well, I've helped two big companies, to establish here in Qatar from a logistic perspective, and they're doing last mile delivery. We had to get special permission from the minister, so there was those type of things. But the great thing I'd say about logistics is that it is about they're trying to utilize AI, but it's still coming down to the service. Providing that service, and even though that you're taking on some of the big boys that's in that marketplace, and it's ever evolving that space.
Yes.
The big thing I would say to anybody right now is just make sure that your unique selling points stand out.
What's your USP?
USPs, yeah.
I think that's really important with this.
And if they have any case studies which they've done outside or whatever it is, to highlight those case studies and what value and what's the ROI that you have done for that client, that will always be exciting.
Many companies
yes.
that approach me now, and I always tell them, can you get a recommendation letter from any GCC entity that you worked with?
Yes.
If you cannot get a recommendation letter, then people will be looking at me like, what are you talking about? We are not used to that. I said, yes, I understand, but that's how the market is.
Yeah.
Get some recommendation letter. Do these people know you as a person? Do they know Taz or Steve, or they know the other company that was the front when closing a deal? Because we already know that lots of companies are relying on third party to close their deals or to work with their businesses, which is fine. There's no shame, no harm in that. At the same time, as you said, what's their USPs, unique selling points?
Testimonials, things like that, which really helps.
Yeah.
I think if you've done a good service, I don't think anyone would hesitate to give you a good testimonial.
Yeah,
Keep that couple of them, become good clients, and then that would give a good entry.
And sometimes, like, you approach a point, and then you find out, like, for instance, whenever there's something related to IT, in Qatar, we mainly focus either on Ooredoo and Miza at the same time, because they are working together and competing sometime to capture those, let's say, technologies before they come to the market, so that they can be the technology providers.
Yes.
So that's amazing. I love it in a way because they have their own alliances and incubations at the same time, where they host the technologies or try to spread it within the country or within the region itself.
Yeah, good point. Lena and everybody that sent message in today, thank you so much. Honestly, it really makes a difference, and it shows that people are listening too. So Lena, thank you so much for asking these questions. And here's her question. How do you balance fast growth with not burning out your team or yourself? And that one's to you.
Show me a team that's not burned out when it comes to startups. It's always link the idea of a startup to a gang or warriors on a mission. They're always exhausted, they're always tired, but that's it. That's a life. It's a survival mode for some time before you have your breakthrough.
Yeah.
You know that. You know that. I know that.
Absolutely, yes.
You remember the talk that I used to give the kids every year, which is why you must not be an entrepreneur, because it's not an easy thing.
Yeah.
If you think that it is gonna be pink skies, easy path,
not really. Yes.
That's not the truth about it. It's really hard. It's time consuming. It's and I always put that out. Show me someone that started their journey and finished up with the same spouse. That's how hard it is as a business.
That's a bit challenging.
As a business.
So he's not talking now. I'm not talking.
As a business, show me someone who became a successful entrepreneur. Okay, who's a successful entrepreneur who ended up with the same spouse, she or he. Like, show me one. As far as I know, as of today, I have found only one, and he's the gentleman behind what they call Incubators, the game. That's the only entrepreneur that I know that he started from nothing with the same spouse and became a billionaire with the same spouse.
With the same, wow, that's interesting.
That's the only guy
that read the research on that.
By the way, I heard. I'm not sure. I haven't verified the information.
I think that with this, and I'm 59 years old. I've been in many different industries, and I think that the biggest thing is team. I think that you've got to have a great team behind you.
Yep.
You've got to have a team that's going to be able to pick up the slack when you are having those moments, right?
Yep.
So when you are having those difficult patches, when you probably are feeling burnt out,
Yes.
that there's other people in your team that can see that can identify that, and they can build it. So you as a team leader, the one that's the leader, it's like you've got to show the way.
Yep.
I remember when we used to do development, me and another person used to stay up all night. If the developer wasn't finished and we had a deadline, we would all be together, even though that we couldn't provide any team
But
support.
just
Yes.
It was just being on the call with him,
Yeah.
going through those last little points. And I think those are the things that you can do with your team and make sure that they're there to carry you through.
And it's also the ownership as well, isn't it? Because as long as you share that ownership mentality with the team, especially in a startup phase, you want that team to be with you. You don't want the key elements there. Let's say, for example, 3 or 4 people are ending up doing something new, and you want all 4 of them to be part of that. So it all depends on how strategically you plan your management skill sets to make sure they're together.
Failure or let's say not meeting the deadline or whatever, it's not just one person's problem, it's everybody's problem. So if we casted you out, for instance, Taz, and we say, okay, Taz, you failed on that, then what? A startup would fail. A corporate, it will be okay because, it's a corporate, so we'll manage.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about startup. If you start pointing out, then you'll be taking out this person from the business itself, ending up losing your startup maybe just because you took out 25% of your team.
Yeah.
So it's the general, let's say, aspect of a startup. They're always like on the verge of breaking down.
Yeah.
Now, how we can pull it out? We pull it out with our support. Remember the video I did last summer, which was about talking about the emotions and everything. As men, we are not used to that. For the female, it's much easier because talking and expressing themselves and their feelings, and it's okay. So for me, as Abdullah, even with the people that I mentor, especially with the male entrepreneurs, I always tell them, how do you feel today? Like, tell me exactly how do you feel. Like I wanted them to speak about it. Because sometimes if you just put it out, it's out. That's it.
True.
You can focus back on your business. And as you said, Steve, recognizing the time that this person's been out and understanding that we are all human, we have our threshold. We cannot be happy and positive 100% of the time. But, Taz with you and saying, for instance, he's your son, we love him so much, but that, okay, sometimes you push him a bit hard and then you'll have to be with him. Like what takes a father to his son's, let's say, physiotherapy, where you're going to sit down and talk to random strangers that you will end up mostly just being there just to be with your kid.
Yeah, I mean, this leads to another incident that happened to me 4 days ago at the pitch. I took my son for a new training session, and the training's going really well. And there was this dad behind the goalpost, and we ended up catching up. And he's from Central Asia, Azerbaijan, recently moved into the country, working for a major company into the oil and gas sector. Yeah. I mean, as we mentioned, Steve, it's all about keeping that openness to have a little short conversation with anyone. Then that one person could lead into multiple opportunities that you could lead into a company. I mean, this is what everyone should be looking at, even Web Summit or any of the institutions that they come, have a conversation with Steve, walk into his booth, and then maybe Steve could introduce another person just walking next to you.
Yep.
It's the way the business.
It's the way the business is going to go. It is.
It's gotta be. And you've got so much power. What you've got to do is I say this, my biggest strength is understanding somebody's mindset, what level they're at. And it's more than the balance sheet, it's more than everything else, because if that mindset isn't right, it's just going to become too much for that people to deal with, whatever it may be.
Yeah, and it's also the approach to someone, because I had an incident recently, met with a very high profile person working for a downstream company on a lunch meeting or dinner meeting. I was sat down and someone else asked me a specific question to request to find out from this gentleman. And if we were to go straight on that topic and push that person, you probably wouldn't necessarily get a response back. It's about how you frame that question diplomatically in a nicer way to get the best advice out of that individual. And if you put it in the right way I want to get the guidance from you, Abdullah, you will be more than happy to give me a guidance, because I'm asking your expertise to share something which could benefit me.
Yep.
And people have to fine tune their approach, especially now with the latest generation of individuals and students and coming out. I think this is another learning and teaching curve that we as people have to impart to them, because the technology makes you more short span, flipping videos and going through. So you don't have that continuity engagement with the person for a half an hour. So if we have to go into that level of training those people to understand that with business, you've got to have that continuity. You can't just straight away put that question across the table. You build up that trust and relationship, and that's a good thing.
It's not writing a prompt to ChatGPT.
No, it won't happen like that. For sure, it won't happen like that.
Another keyword is empathy.
Empathy, yes, absolutely.
That's what makes the difference.
Having that skill set is just immense. I've got another question from Fatima. And she says, what shifts are you seeing right now in Qatar's business ecosystem that startups should not ignore? Good question.
Very good question. Yes, very good question.
Where do you want to start?
Can we go that question again? Because I was so excited listening to that question. I was like,
what shifts are you seeing right now in Qatar's business ecosystem that startups should not ignore?
Right. I mean, recently, over the last few months, we have seen major events coming up and major announcements coming up. Now we have the new Kai, the new company as well, launched. I think these are major shifts coming into the ecosystem now. I mean, companies who are specialized in certain high-tech machine learning, AI, etc., they should take this opportunity to focus, have that conversations with the right people to understand that this is the right time to come in. Major shift because of the national strategy and the whole GCC itself. You look at the neighboring country, they're all going ahead with too much involvement into technology and AI, and Qatar is now stepping in heavily into that.
Yep.
So those shifts are major importance for big companies, even for major companies to come on board to facilitate the investments that we talked about last time from Invest Qatar and all these agencies. Even for startups, I think this is valid time to come in, and now this is the best time to be involved in this journey. I think this is what I think personally, they should take that opportunity to come in and look at. And the growth planning for the country, I was reading an article the other day, 5%, which is substantially a percentage of growth that we're looking at for the whole country. That involves these kind of opportunities there to lying in front of you, and we need to capitalize on that.
Maybe media, because we have Media City coming up. I know that they have an incubation and their funding will be announced shortly. QRDI just announced new grants for media as well.
Really,
so that's something coming. Maybe next would be gaming, I would say, because so for me, when we used to scout for developers, we always goes to the gamer, because the gamers would provide you the right skills and the right sharpness when it comes to create anything from design all the way to actual coding of a game. So we used to scout those guys, and those guys who come from gaming usually span their focus from anything to even military aspects, because they have the skills needed. They can code fast, they are sharp, they have the good let's say design to attract you as a user, as a client. So those are two things that I can see. Also, I'm seeing lots of traction towards tourism. As you know, we have Visit Qatar now created here in Qatar for people to come. So those are the three major things that I can see growing. As you know, Qatar is the capital of events for when it comes to GCC. Like we have 4 or 5 events happening every day. Like keeping up sometimes with those events is
absolutely
tiring.
Yes.
And it's a good point you bring up Media City, because they are one of those jurisdictions that just keep on growing.
Yes.
And you said about the gaming side of things, it's under them.
Yep.
It's going under. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's a fantastic area, and also they're also under them is AI too.
Yep.
And that's under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, but also under, they've got an activity now for AI, by all accounts. But that Media City is just going to keep on growing, which is going to be exciting.
It is.
Media City out there in Musharraf right now. So those are the things. Culture, I would say that you, from an expat's perspective, just keep on looking at that and look at the 2030 vision.
Yep.
So important. Okay. And we used to get told this nearly 18 years back, a long time ago, but it was so important. Just make sure that you read that, see where you are going to where you're going to put the skin in the game, okay, and see what things are moving here and see how you could kind of fill that space.
And probably subscribe to these entities like QRDI, Innovation Light, etc., so that we get updated on what's coming up. Like you mentioned, the new grant coming up.
Yep.
These are things that startups
almost
never
last
should
week,
ignore.
yeah.
Like they should look into subscribing to these major agencies to understand what's going on and be updated on what's in the market as well. Because every day things are changing. New systems are coming in.
The problem
new
people are
facilities.
using AI these days a lot. Like they'll
Yes.
come to you with a question to tell you, okay, we've used we found ABC. Yes, you're right, but how accurate is your information?
Yeah. I think it's a learning process. And I think that's why people are not adopting it as much as they should do. I was looking at a study that 10% in the US, 5% in the UK. And I think it's one of those that again, it's going to require great leaders to be able to lead people in the right way on how to use it. And I think there's still that unknown where we're all learning and we're all trying to pick up the pieces and seeing where they have a dramatic effect possibly on your business. Yep. And I think that's going to continually grow. But yeah, fantastic things. Thank you very much for that one. That question there, that was a really good one. Let me just have a look. Nora wanted to understand the investor side better. What do investors in this region really care about beyond the pitch deck and numbers? And I'm going to ask you that first.
People.
I was about to say the same. If that question were to come to me, I would have said it's the people. It's the people.
It said your name first, right?
I'm glad you passed it on to Abdullah. I think now that clearly shows how well synced our thought process are. It's the people, isn't it? It's the people, the mentality.
If I don't feel comfortable bringing this entrepreneur to a lunch with you guys, then he or she is not worth it to invest in. If I don't like and what do you invest when you have a startup? Idea can change, but having a good team never change.
Yeah.
And we know that firsthand, because you can have a good team, but the mechanism between them doesn't work. I know people who play game, like little manipulation games with the founders, by the way. Like if there's a team of 3, they will invite 2 and invite 1 separately, just to understand how strong the co-founders are.
Right. And how synced they are in the vision.
For me, every time I meet a founder, a startup founder, I give them a task. That's one of my, let's say, tests that I give out. If they don't fulfill the task, then I know that they're not committed. And I meet so many of them. Like literally every trip, around every corner, someone will approach me with an idea. And I always give them like, okay, what do you know about such? Can you tell me about this? And most likely they will tell me no. Then I'll tell them, okay, can you just come back to me when you know? And I'd say 90% of the times those people disappear, unfortunately.
And also do a bit of research. I mean, if we're coming into Qatar, there's always the information is available. So when you're in front of someone, you already know a little bit background about the country, the incentives available, the mechanism, the ecosystem. That makes it more interesting for the investor to go to the next stage of discussion rather than having to educate from the beginning.
You need to read about your investor before you approach them. You need to read. You need to know what did they invest in, how many companies they have invested in, what's their ticket size. Sometimes maybe the investor is not right for you. Like some investor, there's no investor who does it all. Some investor will go to the big tickets, some will go to the small tickets, some will go to the early stage, some will go to the later stage. Some of them will just, I call them like entrepreneurs wannabes. They are investor wannabes around the block. Like there are people who are keen about it, but still thinking. They haven't figured out their ways. It's not easy. It's because after all, it's hard-earned cash that you want to invest in an idea that you are literally wishing it will be good. One of the entrepreneurs, not entrepreneurs, he's a CEO of a company today. I had a moment with him, and he said to me, Abdullah, being successful in a startup world is the exception. It's not the norm. The norm is that we fail. And the guy was right. You might have everything, but as I said, what we look for, most important thing, is the people. Do I like you? Do I feel like I can introduce you to my friends? Because my friends or my contacts are the investors, after all, are people who will be interested to open the door for you. So another question is, can we have lunch together or dinner together, or would we having a good conversation or not? It's not easy. Again, I keep emphasizing that it's not easy to be an entrepreneur, because you are looked at with a microscopic, lens over here. So let's pray that all of them will be doing good.
I think that, because what you said just then about making sure that you understand what that investor's interested in.
Yes.
I think it's fundamental because I did door-to-door for so many years, and you had to speak to 100 people on a daily basis, commission only. You did sell, you didn't eat that day. Okay, so you really had to be on top of your game. And we were always strict that don't stay with somebody that isn't positive if they're not going to buy from you, if they're not connected.
Connected, yes.
If you're not connected, move on to the next person, because 90 people are going to tell you no today, but at least you're going to have 90 opportunities to practice what you do.
True.
And once you do that, then you've got the opportunity that I see so many startups that go to speak to investors, and some I've seen that they don't even answer the questions that the investors ask.
Yes. It's coming to the same point that we discussed earlier on. If that's an opportunity that you miss it, then that clearly shows that people, as we both agree to a certain extent, is the key element.
Yes.
But then the next, when it comes to the content,
People
buy from people, and also you need to make sure you can deliver what you commit on that pitch deck.
You see, that's so.
And you can scale.
Yeah,
to whatever level.
Not being able to answer is fine.
Yeah.
At least they can tell you, okay, I will look and come back to you.
Yeah.
What I really hate, I would say, is the entrepreneur who will always say, yes, man. Like, yeah, we'll look into that. We'll do that. Yeah, but now you're diverting yourself from the services. Choose, as I always said, choose up to 3 to 5 services or products that you have, and focus on one of them to make it perfect, and the rest just as soon on the way have them as part of your long-term plan, 5-7 years plan to have them. But don't say yes to everything. Do not change your pitch every time you meet an investor or someone who's excited about your business. Because that's with the flag, like for anybody who want to invest. What if I have seen that with some of the entrepreneurs that I met. Whenever you tell them, okay, why don't you do that, tweak that a little bit? Some of them will come back and say, we cannot do that now because we need to focus on our plan. Some of them say, yeah, you know what? I will put my developer to work on them, and that's how they start to divert from their major, let's say, the KPI or goals.
I say this again, you can see what type of topic this is. It's a really good one.
Yep.
I remember when I say to people, market research,
Yep.
and when you've done your market research, do some more. And I would always say to individuals to go around and try and pick people that are really in that industry that you want to go for, and ask them what they think to your idea and get their feedback.
Yep.
So when you get that feedback, you can then go away and then come back to them and say, those were great points that you told me.
Yep.
We didn't have it in place, but take a look at this now. And you could then have a potential buyer to what you're trying to do. So I think that there's so many different opportunities out there. You've just got to be consistent.
Yep.
So that was a good question. Aisha, when should a founder stop doing everything themselves and bring in experienced leadership?
Day one.
Wow.
Yeah. Day one.
I agree.
Day one. If you don't have it, you cannot build it by yourself. It's not an exam that you're taking by yourself. You study and you will just get your score at the end of the day. It's a team game.
Aisha, I don't know what to add to that, right? So good luck with that one. Go from day one. I remember one thing I will say. There was a guy called Joseph and Yellow Toys.
Yellow Toys, yes. I remember, yes.
He said, and he's got phenomenal business, a phenomenal business.
Mashallah.
And he said the first person he brought into his business was the accountant.
Yep.
He wanted to get those figures right because he believed that he was going to do it, and that's what he did. And he's got multiple businesses now. And the first person he had was the accountant from day one.
That's good.
So that was great advice.
That was great, yes. Yeah. Because it was already a market which was kind of like saturated, and he came in with a new concept, and having the right leadership and the right people always helps.
Which we all use now.
Yeah.
This is a nice one. It's from Yusuf. What one hard truth about entrepreneurship in the region, which you've touched on briefly, entrepreneurship in the region that people really talk about?
How hard is it to be an entrepreneur in general, all over the world?
Of course, it's all. I don't think it's just the region, right?
Yeah, it's everybody, everywhere in the world. It's not easy to give up. We all have our constraints. We all have our, let's say, liabilities that we need to fulfill. You have your kids, you have your family. I have my kids. So being entrepreneurs is not a luxury. because it's a choice that you have to do 100%. You cannot be, I would say, one approver, as you know, we always say about them.
Yeah.
You cannot be a good entrepreneur. You can be a good businessman while having a job. But you cannot be an entrepreneur, like a true entrepreneur that might be a billionaire one day just because you are doing something 50% or 25% of the time. We've seen lots of people, great people with a great idea, but the idea would die just because they are busy.
So again, come back to the point, consistency on, you know, setting up your targets or whatever you want to do. I'm not talking about the financial targets, the business targets, what you want to do, and being so consistent on a daily basis, and take from the mistakes and meet with people, take on the inputs from people who have done this before, meet with people who have experienced. And every time, as you mentioned, be around the positive people around you who's going to motivate, so that your motivation levels doesn't drop down thinking that, oh, this is already done, I can't be successful. But you just have to keep going. And there's always avenues for growth. Meet with the right people, and this will definitely help.
Yeah, 100%. And finally, Gemma, again, thank you so much indeed. If you could go back and give your younger entrepreneurial self one piece of advice, what would it be?
I'm not entrepreneur, you know, so I'm a businessman. So
Okay, I'll accept that. What about you?
I would say, from that perspective of being an entrepreneur, is you have to change yourself being from an introvert, if you are, or people who doesn't, to be more extrovert, engage with a lot of people, meet with business owners, meet with people who are working in companies to understand all the good pieces of advice that you can take on board, and then give you the right timings. And also look at what's market requires, what geographical areas are more focused on certain areas, and you have to do yourself. And it's not going to be a 9 till 5, as we said earlier, because no one's going to pay into your bank account because you have started something on your own. So you've got to spend more time. Like we're sitting here on a Saturday morning discussing everything, because we want to make sure that people understand that time doesn't wait for you. You have to run behind it. You got to go forward. Stand still, you move backwards. Yeah, exactly. Yes. And then, you know, every day you might end up learning something new, meeting someone new who could help you with your business. So
yeah, and don't be afraid of learning those mistakes. And I know that's a cliche, but it's the only way.
And rejection, you have to understand, especially with the new generation coming in, we all have faced it in our life to some extent, but rejections are part of your success story. Because you learn and you keep improving yourself. So you just have that mindset to accept the reality and move forward.
The biggest thing that I think is just make sure that you're solving a problem.
Yeah.
And that's just with the experience that you've gone round and listened and listened and listened. And it's the most simplest thing is, are you really solving a problem?
Yeah.
And if you are, then go for it.
Yep.
But if you're not, be honest to yourself.
Yeah.
And you normally hear from so many different companies, they end up pivoting because they realised down the track that they didn't do something.
That's why people are important.
And also interaction with your clients, with your end user clients, to understand not just the problems, you know, what shortcomings they are looking at, how can we solve it.
Yeah.
So I think this is very important to have that close communication.
I always tell that for the entrepreneurs who are energetic, you know, and want to change the world and everything. And they would come and say, yeah, for the past 50 years, okay, this technology hasn't changed. And I'm asking, so why are you smarter than XYZ, the big companies? Like, why do you see yourself as smarter than them? And they will give me, like, some of them will give me a straight answer and say, well, we know that they have done 1, 2, 3 to change their process, and they found XYZ problems, and we are solving those problems, so now it's faster for them to do it.
Yeah.
Yet sometimes they'll tell me, oh, they are stupid enough not to think about it. That's a judgment, and as soon as you put a judgment or assumption, you lose.
You lose it. And it's all about building that relationship to a certain level, extent that people are willing to open up their gaps, the problems with you, because everyone tries to hide everything behind them. Even big companies, you got to build up that traction and relationship with them. So they'll be sitting with you one day and say, look, we have this issue. Is there any solution that you can bring on board? That could be a great entry for a startup company who might have a technology which we can bring in as a pilot project. And sometimes these projects are announced where there's a problem they're trying to solve. And if you have an existing solution from a company, you should be able to navigate and get that conversation with the client. And that could be starting your business straight away.
Great section.
Oh, as always.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
for
Yes.
asking those questions. What we're going to do now is we're going to move on a little bit. We're going to talk about the different events that's coming up. We've already touched on the Web Summit. It's from the 1st to the 4th of February. It's a major event here in Qatar. And if you are thinking about coming here to start up in the tech eco space, then it's going to be one of those that you just need to be here. There's going to be different offers, I'm sure, that's going to be run through that event. But I think we've touched on that quite a bit now. So it's on the 1st to the 4th of February. And if you've got intentions, make sure you're coming here. The weather is just absolutely perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. You'll go along the corniche and you'll have people walking there having picnics at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. So come on along, introduce yourself to people. Now, there's going to be another event that's coming up, which is going to be in February from the 2nd to the 5th, which is going to be the LNG.
LNG 2026, the 21st edition, coming back to Doha after a long time, and you will have great opportunity to interact with policymakers, decision makers, big companies, etc.
Even just knowledge, man.
Just
to understand
knowledge. So
where they're going, yeah.
Exactly. I think the first 2 weeks of February, we will have the cream of cream walking around in Doha. It is a tough, especially now that oil and gas, especially now, Abdullah, you agree, this is a crucial stage within the whole world economy that Qatar is leading ahead with the LNG, and we've got a lot of companies with high-end technology who want to bring in. And now we're talking about intelligent oil fields, smart oil field, etc.
Observations and all this.
Exactly, and especially now we're talking about sustainability. If companies are involved in carbon capture storage, we have the biggest projects going on in the world now. It's CCUS, and we need those companies to come in, interact with people, and meet with people and try and understand if they have an opportunity to engage. There's a big opportunity there, to be honest with you. Yes.
Again, those events are just to keep you up to date. If you want to meet someone, you cannot go, especially in oil and gas, you can't go and knock on their door and say, I would like to meet you. No. That's an event that you can as you said, just go give this person your card. Yeah. See what will happen.
Yeah. See what comes. Yeah, exactly. Another one that we're talking about is, and that's in April, but we might as well bring it up in
CyberX.
Yes.
CyberX.
Yeah. We talked about the cybersecurity, which is a key focal discussion point nowadays with
it's part of the national vision,
Yeah.
And it's data is the next gold, next oil that we know. It was gold in the past, then oil, and now it's data. It's the same thing why we have lots of companies competing for the data of the region, because we don't have much data about the region, like how things are, how many people are here, what's their interest. So cybersecurity is one of the major things.
So that's another event not to be missed by anyone involved in that sector or thinking about getting into cybersecurity elements. They should be here.
In general,
to meet
IT,
with
man,
people,
cybersecurity goes to everything. Even in AI, you need to have cybersecurity, as we know.
I look at this and I'll read it. Cybersecurity Summit, exploring digital risk, AI in cyber defense, cloud security, and collaborations across industries. Yep. So it's and I because I've worked with White Hat Desert. I don't know if you've ever come across them, but they are a phenomenal operation community, and it's all to do with cybersecurity. Yeah. And you've got people from Qatar Energy, you've got people from Qatar Foundation, Abdullah and Ashraf, that are doing a phenomenal, every year they put on an event. I thought that the cybersecurity was saturated here.
It's not.
Probably not.
Just the beginning.
It's just beginning, exactly. Yeah. So,
but now that become the bigger institutions like the production facilities, now they're very much keen on looking at cybersecurity on the technology and the sensor levels, the IoT coming in, because obviously you recall the incident we had globally with Jaguar Land Rover. Yes. It's completely shut down the whole enterprise for a couple of days because of cyber attack. So that kind of shows how key, vital it is to make sure that your assets are protected. And if we have latest technology companies who are looking at that level, this is the right time to be here. Yep. And have interactions with the right stakeholders. Because and probably is in April, so you still have some time to do some pre-planning and research and talk to some of these companies to understand and make some meeting arrangements while you're here in Doha.
Yeah, it's a great one today, but
it is.
Always it is.
It is a great one. And
absolutely.
That you can see the type of experts. And if you have got a company that's around the world, we're not just doing this from a business perspective in trying to bring in leads, right? That's not what we do. What we want is this is our, there's a lot of people that say this is our second home. In some cases, this is our first home. And we want to try to do as much as we possibly can for others and to help people develop. And that's in any sector. So you've got experts here that know their way around those types of areas. And we want to help you. You are the specific person that we want to help. And these two gents, let me tell you, are the best at it. So please ask those questions, get in touch with us, and make sure that we can give you back what you're looking for. And that's what we're going to do over a period of time, is that we'll put different sectors in, and we'll let you know what sectors that we're going to be picking, but there's going to be different sectors that we can expand with your help. You need to tell us what you're looking for, and we'll give you those answers.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much. Yes.
Before we go, what are you doing in the next few weeks?
Oh, we're going to be very busy. I mean, starting from this tomorrow onwards, I think there's going to be a lot of planning for you as well for the Web Summit.
So
LNG,
I have a friend of mine. His name is Ahmed Shanav. He's coming from Turkey to Qatar to explore the market. He has a YouTube channel. The guy is well known in Turkey. He focuses on, let's say, a small or medium-sized businessman, someone with investments from $1 to $2 million that are looking for right opportunities and right places. So he's going to be here for a week. I would like you to meet him. That's
sure.
one of the person. It's pretty early, but I have to travel to London on the 28th. I am invited to ring the bell on the 28th for the London Stock Exchange because one of my funds is going to be listed over there.
Exciting.
So that's the big major thing that's happening before the Web Summit. But I will be here on the 30th to be ready for the Web Summit.
One of your funds is going to be listed?
Yep. How
do you feel with that?
Amazing. Glad, happy, proud. Lots of mixed feeling. As I say, if my brain is the skies, then Northern Lights is up so high over there. So, as I told you, it's always, as you said, Steve, put yourself out, see what will happen. You end up in situations where it's just, I couldn't have done that without this small hi, hello, my name is Abdullah. Awesome. You see, there's a guy, I forgot what's his name. He's the one who teaches negotiations. And he said the easiest way to fight, to avoid a fight, whether you are in a bar or anywhere else, is to do something simple. Make sure that the next person, the person who want to punch you in the face, knows your name. Because instead of punching a stranger, he'll punching, Steve or Taz. So it's the same thing with everything in life. Everything is negotiations. Everything is skills. Though I'm not a big fan of negotiations and long, but it's always those, avoiding a problem is also opening an opportunity for you.
Yeah.
I say congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Because I know that the extent that you go to you're traveling all over the world.
Yep.
And it's like you definitely put up, and it's like you kind of, the hands that you're shaking, it represents millions, if not more.
I'm lucky to have that. I'm blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have such opportunities to meet the right people. That's why I'm here with you guys, because I'm blessed to have you as friends.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Honestly, congratulations.
Yeah, it's going to be a phenomenal couple of weeks. Even one thing we missed out is the big event on DIMDEX,
yes,
which is focused on the defense. I mean, again, companies who are unique technologies specifically for the defense sector, there'll be a great opportunity to interact with the real stakeholders and understand what they can offer. I think because obviously globally, latest technologies coming up around the world, and Qatar could be a good launchpad even for that. For the region. So this is everyone's going to be there. I think we have all of the embassies and technology companies from specific countries who already started talking. I mean, we had a delegation coming from Czech Republic I think in December time, and they're coming back again because they already have a traction to discuss with Barzan, etc. on some of the projects. So a lot of opportunities for multiple sectors. I think we had.
If you're out there right now, throw that stone into the lake, create the ripples.
Exactly.
These guys can help you connect the dots. Okay, so if you're coming here, if you want to explore, get in contact, and we can.
Yeah, we'd be happy to
Introductions and show them the.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you had been here already and you didn't cross path with the right contact to get you to that next stage, we are happy to help that support and bring that conversation.
Well, I'm looking forward to meeting up with you next week. I'm looking
very much, yes.
Being part of this, these students, I'm going to introduce you.
That would be great. Looking forward to that.
And different opportunities are coming. So
absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you much.
You're most welcome. Thank you very much indeed, Steve. Thank you. It was a great pleasure having you both as well, together, and good start. It is a joy. It is a joy. Yes.
It's light. I don't believe that we have been here for more than an hour. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
A lot of sessions. Yeah, interesting conversations. Yes, always.
So So 10%, another 18, 19 to go.
19 to go, yes.
19 to go.
I think we'll make it happen this year for sure.
Well, 100%.
100%, yes.
2026 is a big year.
Yes, and if there's any topic that the audience would want to specifically focus
Yeah,
on, please do send across, and we can do some research between us and come up with some valuable insights for you.
Listen,
Thank you.
for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for asking all those questions. Make sure you keep them coming. We're really excited about what we did today, and we want to take it another step, maybe 10, 15 steps forward. Let's take it step by step, but we want to help you and guide you in any way we possibly can. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us. Bye for now.